could just start. I mean, I feel like we are almost functioning as a news channel here. I mean, we just completed on Wednesday our first charity auction for OnChainMonkey that went to the Giga project. Do you want to talk a little bit about the Giga project, Bill? And
yeah, so some of you guys, obviously, many of the people on this Twitter Spaces were kind of around for the last Twitter Spaces, but the Giga Connect project is one that's kind of special to all of us, because I think any of us here couldn't be doing this or anything we do without internet. And obviously, UNICEF is an organization that's been around for a long time as part of the UN. And their function has been obviously to help children in schools. And they've been involved in the building of schools all over the world. And those were done mostly in the decades before internet existed. So we are at the point now where you can literally drop a relatively low-cost solar panel and a satellite dish or a Wi-Fi broadband connector, if there's other telco infrastructure nearby, and light all these things up. And not only is it the broadband, but one of the beauties of what Chris Fabian has done is he's architected with the UNICEF innovation team a digital wallet infrastructure that is going to be placed with the deployments in all of these schools, so that the next generation of people and become creators and can participate in the digital economy. So it expands the market for all kinds of things, including NFTs. So I think we're very excited about it. It was really fun to see both Charlie Lee, the creator of Litecoin, and Rome and many other people, kind of diving in and driving to support this project and competing to bid. And wonderful result with that project. And we're going to continue it in January. There's going to be some other very fun things that we do around the in-person crypto finance conference in St. Moritz, presuming that they go forward with the in-person conference. But that's just a kind of a hint of some things to come.
Awesome. Thanks, Bill. Yeah, we were pretty excited. Those last 48 hours definitely heated up between Charlie and Rowan. And okay, let's see. I think, do we have everybody on?
And I think Louie is Lou Boy. Lou, you gotta you probably cut your Zoom or your simultaneous call. And Louie actually does have an OnChainMonkey and his other Twitter profile, so I think he's signed on in a different one, but he does use our wonderful little monkey graphics. While he's warming up, I think as we got this whole project, the MetaGood company, formerly known as Infinita, and the OnChainMonkey project going, the Louie and team were kind of around from the start. They're part of our crew in the sense that the nonprofit that I've been supporting for years has worked with Louie on a bunch of things, and Amanda's going to do a deeper introduction, but you probably saw the images he's done with the other people, Travis and Chris, some incredible stuff. I was at the I think it was 2015. I was at the watch party, so to speak, where they lit up the Empire State Building with images and video clips of endangered species, and it was just moving to see the beautiful species like on that building on a hot summer night. It was just incredible. So that made such an impression on me that to see them continue on to do the UN building and the Vatican. When we started this project, I knew that we had to do something together. So I'm glad that we're all partnered up and that we've got our gigantic and growing monkey community involved in this, because I think you probably saw the image, of course, that Amanda posted, and there are some just iconic things ahead for us with this group.
Yeah, I'd say for anyone who is listening in, if you go to Vimeo and you type in projecting change, Empire State Building, or projecting change / Vatican, there are kind of a 1-minute video that shows the projections they did on the Empire State Building and the Vatican back in 2015 that got like over 5.3 billion media views. And now they've been asked to do similar projections during the United Nations Climate conference, COP26, which is coming up right around the corner, November 5th in Glasgow, Scotland. So that's what we're going to talk about today. Let's go ahead and get started. We're very honored to have three special guests. They're actually also advisors to our company. We have Louie Psihoyos, Christopher Lejeune, and Travis Threlkel. So I'm going to do a quick intro to myself and my co-founders, and then we'll do intros for our guests and hop into Q&A, and this will be a quick half-hour Twitter Spaces. So hi, everyone. My name is Amanda Terry. I'm co-founder, Chief Operating Officer of MetaGood, which is the NFT marketplace for social good, which will be launching soon. I support all things on the business side and social for OnChainMonkey. And I'm joined by my co-founder, Danny Yang, and he's CEO of MetaGood. He's also the creator of OnChainMonkey, which was the first profile pic collection that was done fully on-chain in a single transaction. So historic first from a technical perspective. We love our community. Thank you, everyone, for joining today. We're so excited. His history was he was founder of MyCoin, which is Taiwan's largest cryptocurrency exchange. So think kind of the Coinbase of Taiwan. He also founded Blockseer, which is a blockchain analytics company that was sold in 2018. And we are very fortunate also to have Bill Tai, who's our third co-founder, who invested in both of Danny's companies and is a legendary Silicon Valley investor. He was the first investor in Zoom and seed investor in Wish, Canva, and 20 other publicly traded companies. So we're very fortunate to have him guide and work with us so closely. I want to move on to our guests today. So first of all, we have award-winning National Geographic photographer and Academy Award-winning director, Louie Psihoyos, who is the founder of and executive director of Oceanic Preservation Society. This is a California-based nonprofit organization that promotes marine conservation and environmental protection. He's very well known for his first documentary film, probably many of you have seen it, called The Cove, which won the Academy Award and became the first documentary to sweep all Film Guild Awards. And then in 2015, he released his second documentary, Racing Extinction, which was the basis for a lot of projections on the Empire State Building and the Vatican, which was nominated for an Oscar and an Emmy Award. Those were released on Discovery Channel, and Racing Extinction has been seen by over 36 million people in 220 countries since the first day it aired, and has led to laws banning the trade of some of the world's most endangered species. He's joined today with colleagues Travis Threlkel and Christopher Lejeune of Obscura Digital. This team of three have managed a large team of people to actually produce projection events of endangered species and for climate change for the United Nations building, the Empire State Building, and the Vatican. I'm going to give a quick intro. Chris, do you want to say hi?
Hey, all. Hi, Amanda. Hi. Thanks for having us.
We're so excited you're here today. Chris is a California native entrepreneur, designer, inventor, and environmentalist. He's the former CEO and co-founder of Obscura Digital, which has been known for creating some of the world's largest immersive experiences. And then we also have Travis Threlkel, who is the co-founder of Obscura Digital, who has led large teams of people providing immersive branded environments with some of the latest technologies, from architectural and video mapping to interactive displays and 3D cameras, outside of, as we mentioned, the UN, Empire State Building, the Vatican. He's also done video projections on the Guggenheim Museum and the Sydney Opera House, amongst many other iconic buildings. So thank you so much, guys. We're so excited to have you join us today. Let me start off with Chris. Maybe you can give us a little intro on what you've been up to and why we're so excited about November 5th.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Amanda. Yeah, just, backing up a little bit, Travis and I spent many years working in large-scale immersive digital media. So, working with artists and technologists to create immersive experiences and large-scale projected experiences. And through this work, we met Louie as he was working on his second film, basing Extinction. And he came to us and wanted us to help him figure out how to scale social change, which is really, what his mission is with all of his films. And that's where, Travis came up with the concept to do large-scale intervention of massive projections in Manhattan of species taking over the city. And so that was meant as like a massive public press event, just to get the word out, kind of blitz and push things out to the media in a really unique way. And it was done as part of the film, but we got a just incredible scale out of it. We got invited right afterwards to do the Vatican by the Pope, right in advance of COP21, the climate change conference that we finally got some good signatures from countries around the world, some commitments. And so, these kind of events just have grown in scale. And so we're working on bringing that to another level over the next few years, where we have a series of different events that are going to be happening around the world. And what we're really excited about is this intersection right now with NFTs. We see it as artists as activists. We get together, all of our artist friends, and work with famous artists and photographers around the world to curate these large scale experiences. And now what we're seeing, I'm, a super believer in DeFi, and we're seeing, the power of, shifting the system through DeFi now, merging with digital art, with NFTs. We just see as an incredible engine and opportunity to bring another level of change to what we're working on. And so that's why we're just, really thrilled and honored to be teamed up with the MetaGood team and see if we can build an engine where we're actually using the projected art to create NFTs that then power change through fundraising that's channeled to specific causes. So super excited about that, and I'll pass it back to Amanda.
Great, thanks, Chris. We're excited to partner with you, and just for OnChainMonkey, so we're kind of wondering, okay, what do these projections have to do with my OnChainMonkey? We are launching MetaGood, which is a marketplace for NFTs for social good. So every NFT that is sold on MetaGood will have some charitable component to it. So we'll be partnering with a number of creators, causes, and their communities to do kind of what we basically did with that OnChainMonkey auction on Wednesday, but really at scale. So for like full collections with many different causes. So that's coming soon. And as an OnChainMonkey holder, you will have early and exclusive access for bidding on any of these collections that we launch. So it's a kind of huge benefit. You'll also be able to trade your OnChainMonkeys on MetaGood at no fee. So this is, pretty exciting if you're an OnChainMonkey holder. So that's kind of the tie of what's OnChainMonkey and how does it have to do with MetaGood. And I just want to I think we have Louie on now. So maybe you could tell the story of, how the three of you met. I heard it's kind of an interesting story.
Yeah, Amanda, it's thank you. Just a bit of background. When people see me as a filmmaker, but I'm really not interested in film per se. I'm interested in trying to scale social change. When we did the Cove, if you haven't seen it, is about dolphin hunting in Japan. At the time, they were killing about 23,000 dolphins and porpoises every year in Japan for human consumption, even though it was toxic. The meat is toxic, anywhere from 5,000 to 5,000 times more mercury than allowed by Japanese law. If dolphins were fish, of course they're not, so they get by with a loophole. After the film came out, I think last year, the dolphin hunting in Japan is down 97% since the film came out. And when we did, so we thought, well, let's keep on tackling bigger subjects. So then we did Racing Extinction, a film about the Anthropocene, the sixth mass extinction on the planet, which we're going through right now. And, there's some theories about social change that once you get 10% of the population 100% committed to a cause, that eventually that's the recipe for scaling social change. So you to reach 10% of the population, get them committed. And documentaries, a good documentary maybe gets 100 million people. But I realized that with the projections like what Chris and Travis are doing, we could get billions of media views. I think we had collectively 5.4 billion media views with the projections with racing extinction. That led to laws that prevent some of the most endangered species from being trafficked around the world. And we just keep on trying to scale it up. It's like, okay, films are great. It gets the word out, but the projections are like a sweet spot. You get when we did the Vatican for the Pope with endangered species, we had 225,000 people watching that event live. There's 600 media there. Then we had 4.4 billion media views within 5 days. And now the question that we have is, okay, how can we turn those views into action? And that's the key. So now we can do hashtags. We can, we want to mobilize, the monkey army. It's kind of funny that we always call these the projections that we do that aren't sanctioned, like on the Trans-American Tower or some of them that we've done in the Guggenheim, et cetera. So we call them guerrilla projections. It's kind of funny. We're going full circle. Well, it actually is a guerrilla projection now. The idea is like, how can we use the monkey army to scale this change that we need? We're going through unprecedented times right now with climate change and COVID. And the question is, I spend 75% of my time trying to raise money for projects. And I'm thinking, can we use this need for people? Everybody has a need to want to do good. That's the only thing that gives us joy, really. All the other stuff that we're chasing, the success of, let's say, money, good job, all that kind of stuff, it sort of, once you've achieved it, it leaves you a little bit empty. And that's because the only thing, we're hardwired to do good for other people. And if you get off that course, everything else that sort of falls and, falls flat. So if you get that corner office, you get that car, you get that house, whatever, and it leaves you a little bit empty. But when you do something good for somebody, it actually physically changes your neurology. It wires your brain differently, not just the way you think, but the way you feel, the way you act. It actually changes your neuroplasticity, the way your brain's wired. It changes your blood so that you're more immune to disease. There's a lot. So we want to tap into that feeling that people have when they're doing good works. I get that a little bit when I'm doing films. The films are the North Star of our projects is how do we affect change? Not how do we make a film? How do we make a film that affects change? That's the key. We did a film called The Game Changers on Netflix. That film, if you haven't seen it, is about the virtues of a plant-based diet. The first 30 days I was on Netflix, searches for plant-based diet on Google Trends went up 350% worldwide. Now I'm thinking, like, how can we if we can get billions of media views, how can we convert those views to people taking action? And we need that collective action for climate change. We need it for solving these big issues. And I'm excited about trying to harness the monkey army, these guerrilla projections to try to do good around the world. Not just, it's not about us anymore. It's about how do we get funding to the organizations that are doing this frontline work to scale social change so that the world is a completely different place in 10 years from now. And I mean completely different place, that we're doing great things for each other, for the planet, that we're the Secretary General of the United Nations says that we have 10 years to turn climate change around and until we have runaway climate change. And then what we're seeing right now with the fires and pandemics, which are all related, that'll be just a warm-up back for what nature has to serve us. So we think that if we can harness this army together, we can start to solve these big, huge existential threats.
Awesome. Thank you, Louie. Louie and Chris, tell us a little bit more. I mean, we put on some Twitter pictures and on our Discord what the projections might look like on this armadillo building in Glasgow. But tell us a little bit more about, what's going to happen during COP26.
Yeah, sure. So what we're putting together right now, for those that don't know, COP is a conference of parties. It's the United Nations Climate Change Conference. It's actually not really publicized well enough that people, kind of know it at a consumer level around the world. But it's where all the world leaders gather to make their commitments and to, commit what they're going to do for the future for climate change in terms of carbon offsets and, transitioning to alternative energy. So this year's conference is in Glasgow, Scotland. and it actually was delayed a year with COVID, and it's still kind of under pressure with COVID, but it's really important. So they're going forward with it. We are doing projections on November 5th on the Scottish Event Center Armadillo, which is this really amazing building that's designed after interlocking ship hulls. Looks kind of like the Sydney Opera House. It's just perfect for projection. And this is the official building where all the world leaders are gathering, and it's the real estate that COP is using to message out to the world. So we got our way in there through all the artists and millions of all sorts of people that are trying to get in to do art and installations at COP, and we were invited to do the central piece. And so all the news cameras are going to gather across the river, and that's where the broadcast will go out to the world in terms of external visual communication. So we're working with a number of artists. We've got a short piece by Darren Aronofsky and JR that's called The Standing March. That's going to be displayed there. We're working with Olafur Eliasson to do this cool thing called Earth Speaker, which is kids from around the world that are raising their voice for climate change. We're working with Steve McCurry, who's really like Leonardo da Vinci of our time, with the most famous photograph called Afghan Girl, which is like the Mona Lisa of a photograph, and many other famous photographers and cinematographers, and through Louie's great relationships with all his peers, we're just offered up. People just give us this incredible work to use for these projects, and so our job is really to curate them and put them together into impactful communications to get out to the world. We're also working with youth climate activists, really the leaders in the youth climate movement, to distill their messages and give them a voice at COP.
Amazing, so cool. And just so everyone knows, the images that are being projected on the Armadillo building during COP26, with all of the world leaders making decisions on their climate commitments, will be available, not all of them, but some of them will be available as NFTs for sale on MetaGood, and that all of the OnChainMonkeys will have early and exclusive access to bid on those. So pretty exciting stuff in terms of kind of digital and real world representation of this art. Chris, Louie, I know you guys are based in the Bay Area, and we've been talking to you about doing something special for the OnChainMonkey community. Can you share anything about what you've been working on?
Yeah, so Danny has asked us to do some interesting interventions, and so what we're planning on doing is kind of a little warm-up act. As Louie mentioned, we call it guerrilla projections. In this case, this is going to be some monkey business, some monkey projections that are going to, OnChainMonkeys will show up in interesting places around the city in San Francisco. And so we're just planning that right now. And I think we'd actually love to solicit the community's thoughts on buildings or interesting places where you might want to see an OCM show up.
I love that idea. So is there how do they communicate if people are listening and we spread the word on Twitter or on our Discord, and people have favorite buildings that they want to put into the mix for possibilities? How do they communicate that to whom?
Well, I guess we could be great if you give us a JPEG or an image of where you'd like to see it show up, and do hashtag monkey business.
All right, cool.
I love it. So hashtag monkey business, and send pictures of where you'd like to see maybe your monkey, and if not your monkey, one of your community members, OCMs, projected, and more announcements to come on that. But that will be kind of fun, and that's a little project that we're working on as some of our monkey business. We've got about 6 minutes. Does Louie or Chris kind of want to talk about what are the goals? So at the end of this, November 6th, the news has come out, these incredible projections on the Armadillo building. What do you hope is kind of the impact of what you're working on?
Louie, do you want to take that one?
Yeah, I mean, the goal of this, for me is, with the collective projections, I'd say, we're also doing the United Nations building, the east side of it in June. The goal is to get 1 billion people. That way we're over that 10% number, so that we can create this army of activists to create the social change that we need in the physical world. Because we're headed towards this. We're in a crisis now, but I believe that when we come together, humanity can do amazing things. We just need to get people together. Chris and I have been on these calls with the United Nations, with all the divisions from WHO, the World Health Organization, UNICEF, UNEP, and the United Nations is actually looking up to us to be radical, because they cannot be radical. They have 193, 196 member nations that don't all play well together. And they're asking us to communicate in a way that we can reach out and get people collectively to create this action. Because when you're working at the United Nations level, it's very difficult to get change. And I'm thinking we can do kind of an end around of governments. And if we come together, we can solve these problems, more easily. I think the governments can do it. With 1 billion people, we're unstoppable.
What a perfect fit into the theme of decentralization and the power of communities of interest, driving change together like this. This is great. I'm so glad we're all doing this together.
Yeah, we're excited too. This is it feels like everything that I know that Chris and Travis and I have been doing in our lives have been adding up to this. All the films and all the activism has all been kind of a warm-up back for what's about to come. It's a big idea. It's a big, audacious idea. I know it sounds crazy, but all the good ideas always sounds a little bit crazy at first. But I think the community that, the OnChainMonkey community understands that, if you want to change the world, you got to be a little bit, you have to dream. And this is, I think, giving us all a chance to collectively dream a better world, to create the world that we want to live in 10 years from now.
Incredible. Yeah. So just as a reminder, everyone, if you live in San Francisco, or even if you don't live in San Francisco and you have ideas for buildings where we could do projections of your OnChainMonkey or other OnChainMonkeys, go ahead and send it to us on Twitter with #monkeybusiness. And we're working on that more announcements to come on that. We've also been working on a new OnChainMonkey website, so kind of an upgrade version 2.0. So that will be ready definitely sometime by next week. We're just kind of working with our team on getting that live. As we've been mentioning on the last couple Twitter spaces, we are rebranding from Infinita to MetaGood, METAGOOD, MetaGood. And so that website also will be live over the weekend at latest. So a lot of new content coming. Again, for people who are wondering, OnChainMonkey is the first profile pic collection, 10,000 profile pics that Danny Yang created that are all on-chain in a single transaction, which was a historic, pioneering technical feat, which we're very proud of. And MetaGood is the NFT for good marketplace, and our team is supporting the OnChainMonkey collection. And the OnChainMonkey collection and community will be have early and exclusive bidding access for future collections that are launching on MetaGood. And Louie, Travis, and Chris are going to be one of the early collections that are launching. So just to kind of recap from today, they will be projecting on November 5th images and art to inspire 1 billion people to solve the climate change crisis. It'll be happening during COP26 with all the world leaders gathered together. And then some of those images will be turned into NFTs that will be for sale on MetaGood to help support causes related to climate change. So that's how it all fits together. We're really excited to have Louie, Chris, and Travis working with us, and just want to thank everyone for your time today. This will be posted on our YouTube channel, and look forward to seeing everyone on Twitter and Discord. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thanks, Amanda. Let's change the world.
Monkey business.
All right, let's go.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
All right.
Yep.
Cheers, everybody. Bye-bye.